Hey friends, it's Sin. I'm back to do another recap and review for Married at First Sight Season 11. This is actually for Episode 11. Let's talk about sex, baby. Alright y'all, we're going to start off with Karen and Miles. So we start off with them in the bed and discussing trust. So Miles is a little random, let's bring up trust. And do you trust me? Karen is yeah, I don't fully trust you yet, I don't think that I can fully trust you with my heart at this time. And I'm duh, because we know that, first off, 3 weeks is soon to have to completely trust someone, but we know that Karen, honestly, based on what she said in her sessions as a couple with Pastor Cal, we know that they shouldn't have picked her for the show. I think she's growing and doing better, but we know they should have picked her because she is still really hurt from her previous relationship and she has not fully healed from that. So with her saying oh, I don't fully trust you with my heart, I'm not surprised because we know that she still harbors a lot of distrust and has a wall up because of her previous relationship with a guy cheated her and had a baby. So trust issues is what she has for sure. Miles says, no, I could definitely trust you with my heart. I feel like I'm open to that. So, he's at a different level of openness and trust, but that's just consistent with how he's been throughout the season and how Karen has been. But they also go see Dr. Viviana, for a little couple session later on in the episode. Viviana asks them, do they feel married? And Miles and Karen both say they still don't fully feel married. I think Karen still doesn't fully feel married because she wants Miles to seem more normal. She's afraid that he does everything and it's just not completely for show because he really wants to please her. And I think he actually does have that issue, that he is a really nice person and his personality is to please people, but he has to also break some of that down and talk about things that actually are a problem for him, so that they both can see what it is. I think that's part of why she doesn't feel married. Also because, trust issues. So how can you fully feel married to somebody if you have trust issues, right? And then Miles says he doesn't fully feel married either, but he likes where they're at. I feel like Miles doesn't fully feel married because Karen kind of has a wall up, and also because of their intimacy issues. She doesn't like PDA, she doesn't show too much affection, so I think that's why he doesn't feel that married. And if they were further along, I think he would. Miles does say to Viviana when it comes to intimacy that it is a little confusing with him. He feels like it has to be trial and error with Karen. He doesn't know what works and what doesn't. He's because she may not always want affection, but sometimes she does. And the problem is, if she wants a hug or a kiss, or probably not a kiss, but if she wants a hug or hold hands, she won't initiate it, but she also won't tell him she wants those things, which is ridiculous, honestly, because you have to give something. He can't be a mind reader for you. That doesn't make any sense. So if she doesn't like to initiate the affection, she could always just say oh, I want a hug, or oh, I want a kiss, or I want to hold hands. You can tell him that and he would do it, or she can just do it herself. She has to choose one. He can't be Mr. Mind Reader. She's going to have to get over that. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, he can't be a mind reader. That doesn't make any sense. I feel like that's how he got into the whole have sex with my wife on the calendar, how he wrote that, because he's trying so hard to figure out what he thinks Karen would like. He ended up doing something childish and that she deemed disrespectful. And that's an issue. That's why he really should just be who he is, be his natural self, and be affectionate the way he likes to be. But Karen really needs to step up and just say, this is what I would like. Besides that, Karen does tell Dr. Viviana that she has problems speaking about intimacy and sex, especially sex, on camera. She's her family watches the show. She doesn't really want them to see her discussing these things. It's probably a little uncomfortable and embarrassing for her. I can understand that. Some people don't want to talk about that and have their family view it. I understand that, but what I am going to say, I'm going to call Karen out a little bit on this because I can understand you not want to talk about those things on camera, but I think if she had more affection and was more intimate with Miles, not including sex, I'm just saying just more intimacy, even off camera, he wouldn't have some of these issues. So that means that even when they're off camera, some of these issues are still translating to off camera. So that means it's not just the camera that's giving her the problems. Like, you don't want to talk about sex, you can talk about it off camera, or you can talk about intimacy off camera. Intimacy, I said that too fast. Off camera, but I just feel like Miles wouldn't be coming up with some of the things he says if she was. So yeah, she's gonna have to work through that. Viviana does tell her, like, look, you can still be intimate and not be all bold and out there because you don't want your family to see it. There are subtle ways to do it. Send a text and a smile. Different things like that. And Dr. Viviana is definitely right. What Dr. Viviana also gives them advice, and I was like, she gave them really good advice. She said they should just take sex off the table. Because when they started talking about sex, Karen was like cringing, which I don't know why she's cringing. I think that's real strange. That's the part about her that's like, that I said about their kiss last time was really awkward. That's where I couldn't get the word. It was like she was cringing inside to give him a kiss. That's not a good sign. And she says she finds him attractive. And even at the beginning of the episode, when they were talking about trust, Karen honestly looked way more comfortable with Miles. She was like really looking to his eyes, like she really likes him. Like, I was picking up on her body language, and it was way different than the way she usually looks, like that whole uncomfortable look she usually has. She looks uncomfortable, a little cringe. She's just looking different and more comfortable, like she really does like Miles. But she also has this like cringe factor, and maybe she was cringing because they were talking about sex on camera and her family has to see it, so she's like, no, they're gonna see this. That's probably what it is. But the problem with like cringing when talking about intimacy with him is that he's gonna assume any kind of intimacy with him is cringeworthy to her, that he's repulsive. So I feel like, yeah, that's a real issue. But yeah, Dr. Viviana says, take sex off the table. Miles' face a little bit was like, okay. But like, I think this is good for them. They take sex off the table. They can have a good relationship. Be intimate without the thought of, is sex coming? Or is he trying to have sex with me? Like, either one, nobody has to have that pressure. And they could just get to know each other and be affectionate. Because they're not even affectionate, like, they're not that affectionate towards each other. And this is on Karen, really, because Miles wants to be more affectionate. So I think taking sex off the table would be good for their relationship, and we'll see how it goes. Karen and Miles do go to this workout session during the episode as well, work out together. And what cracked me up at this part is when they get to the place, there's this woman there who's supposed to instruct them. And she was like, all right, y'all, let's go to the back. And she looked at Miles, this little smirk, like she thought he was mad cute, like, a little flirty. I was like, girl, what did you do? You better settle down. And then I was like, girl, that's me when I be watching this show. Whatever, they work out, right? Miles is having a hard time. This was hilarious. Karen was doing good. Miles is struggling, but they did a good job, and they honestly had a lot of fun. They were joking around a lot. They seemed really comfortable with each other. So it's weird because like sometimes their relationship looks like it's getting way better. They're getting more comfortable. There's more affection and talking. And then other times it's like Karen has a wall up. But we do see later in the episode they talk to each other, and Karen says that one thing she is working on is proving to him that the type of person she is, that even though she started off really cautious and she seems like she doesn't like any type of intimacy or affection, she just probably wants to set a tone for the fact that she likes a slow pace. And I think she could have just said that, instead of having like walls up, but just to say she likes a slow pace. She doesn't want to rush into things, and certainly not sex. So she wants to prove to him that she is in it and that she does want affection and intimacy, but she just didn't want to move fast. And I think that was actually good that she said that and expressed that maybe his idea of her now, because of the way she started things out, isn't fully who she is. And she should show who she really is then, so that he will know that she is interested in him and that she likes him and that she, wants to be affectionate towards him. And Miles says that the things that he has issues with is if people talks about him being really young and not ready for like an older person or not ready for a relationship or things like that. And he says, that might something that Karen has said had bothered him about how he was like her 8 years ago. And Karen does explain that she didn't mean age-wise, just that she was in a situation like that a while ago. And Karen actually likes that he tells this. She's like, good, I'm glad that he's expressing things that he didn't like that I did, and it's not all just like glitter and rainbows. That's the most thing to me that Miles has to work on. Miles has to work on expressing himself to Karen. Like, he's really good at expressing his emotions, but not always the issues he has with her. He doesn't have a lot of them, but he should still tell her. He's too afraid. It's like he's walking on eggshells that he'll upset her. Or she'll be annoyed if he tells her something that makes him mad or a little upset. But he should tell her. And honestly, Karen would actually like that. That's her personality. I feel like she thinks if things are going too good, she's just waiting for things to just go wrong. So she doesn't want anything to be perfect. She would like it to be normal, you know? So, yeah, I think they're doing better, but they honestly do have things to work on. But from the first scene, how they were like looking in each other's eyes, I honestly think it was better than last episode where it just coming off a little awkward with them. Just too awkward for me. But we will see. I think they can still work out. And they would be so cute. Like, they're just so cute when they do mesh well together. They look really adorable. Then it's the hot mess, Olivia and Brett. Gosh, you know, they always all over the place, or basically in the same place, which is a mess. Yeah. All right, let's start off with the most important part. Those kittens are so cute. Well, cats. Their cats are adorable. Let's just get that out the way before we discuss how they don't belong together. So Dr. Viviana comes to see Olivia and Brett, and of course this meeting does not go well. It doesn't. So they're discussing like things that are issues for them. Viviana's like, all right, what are the big issues? They're like life and children. She's like, all right, let's discuss the life issues. Olivia says, our living situation, like where would we live after, you know, these 9 weeks, I always forget how many weeks it is, 8 weeks, are up. The problem is that Brett owns his home. Like, it would be easier if he didn't own his home. We could probably make an easier decision. But him owning his home, you know, like someplace he really loves and pays for, makes it hard for us to decide where we want to live because she doesn't want to commute for work. You know, she does a lot of work being a nurse practitioner. Now, the problem is Brett is being really annoying and sarcastic as always. As soon as she says, it would be easier if he didn't own his home for us. And he's like, oh, equity, such a bad thing to do. Oh, I'm so irresponsible. Shut up, Brett. Like, you're really annoying. He's so annoying. She didn't say it's irresponsible to own your home. She's already even told him that that's such a good thing that he owns his own home. You know, it's such a nice thing to be able to do. But it's just like, why is he acting like she's trying to put him down? That's because he's very insecure. And he needs to deal with those insecurities and not be in a marriage. And Viviana does call him out. She's like, listen, Brett, you don't need to be sarcastic, okay? Brett and Olivia also bring up the children issue. Like, Olivia's not sure if she wants to have children. She says she might want to and it might change. I mean, Brett definitely does. Children is a clear issue why people can't be together. They shouldn't be together and they shouldn't be matched. Brett shouldn't have even been in the candidate pool because he's trash. And Olivia and Brett should not have been matched because if Olivia's not sure if she wants to have children, someone who's not sure should never be matched with somebody who is sure. That doesn't make any sense. You know, that doesn't make any sense at all. And Viviana's like, yeah, Olivia, you said if you were in a loving, good environment, you would definitely want to probably have children. But, you know, if that wasn't set in stone for her, Viviana. So it doesn't make any sense that y'all would even put them together. But, you know, y'all are bad at matching people, so I'm not surprised. And then, even though Viviana was giving really good advice to Miles and Karen, she gives really bad advice to Olivia and Brett. She says to them, you know what? Maybe we don't really have to discuss these big issues. Lady, what? Aren't you supposed to be helping them? No, they should be discussing this because these show that they don't belong together. And honestly, they shouldn't be together. They should just say, we don't want to be together. You know, it's simple. What you see, honestly, in this episode is like, you could tell that Olivia has real issues and doesn't want to be with Brett. And I don't know why she won't just say, this isn't for her. I think she probably wants to stick it out for the TV show, for her commitment to the TV show and to be married. But I feel like she should really just say, like, it's not working for me. Because it's obvious that she has a lot of issues with Brett that she does not like. And Brett also knows that them having these big problems that they don't like about each other isn't going to work. But he's definitely sticking it out for the TV show as well. So it just doesn't make any sense to me, honestly. Then, Brett talks about how he does like certain things about Olivia and how when she smiles, it's like clouds breaking. And he honestly sounded pretty sincere when he said this, and it sounded sweet. But Olivia later on is like, Brett, you never said that to me. Do you really mean that? Or did you just say that for the cameras? Like, I feel like if you really meant that, you would have told me that by ourselves when we had no cameras around us, and it would have been like simple. She says that he acts different on camera than he acts in person, like when they're alone. And he says she does the same thing. She doesn't say that much when she's on camera. And she's like, well, I'm saying it now. And this is all occurring while they're out having like lunch at some place. So they're both basically calling each other out for acting different on camera. I think he's saying Olivia acts like more things are okay on camera. But actually, I feel like she talks a lot about how Brett's annoying. So he may not see all of that, but she does speak about how he's annoying to her. And I guess Olivia's saying Brett tries to seem like he likes her more or is a nicer, like a more romantic person on camera, saying like, oh, her smile broke the clouds. And she was just like, boy, that's not even how you be acting. Honestly, he could be lying for camera. He could also be one of those people like Henry sometimes does, where he feels something, but he doesn't say it to the person unless someone asks about it. I'm honestly not sure in this moment. I still don't like Brett, but this specific thing, he could really think her smiles like clouds or whatever. I don't know. But Olivia's like, boy, I'm calling BS on that comment because you're a liar. Which I think is hilarious. What was the funniest thing to me about this whole conversation is they're trying to talk. Brett is eating tacos. He eating, she's talking. He gotta wait to talk. He's trying to answer and he's just like, hold on, let me finish my taco. I'm like, I cannot. And Olivia just says she doesn't like the way Brett looks at her, like sarcastically, like he feels like she's an idiot all the time. He makes a lot of faces where he's I don't know if sarcastic is the look I'd say, but he makes faces like he has issues with something, but he doesn't say what it is. When they were talking to Dr. Viviana, she would say something and Brett would be like he felt like whatever Olivia was saying was a lie or he had a problem with it, but he didn't want to say. So I know what Olivia's talking about, but while they're at this lunch, Brett is denying it. He's just like, what? No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't look sarcastic. And Olivia's just like, listen, I want you to be open. I want you to be honest. Do you really even want to be in this marriage? He's like, yeah, I do. I didn't know you were so insecure. I'm like, oh, we throwing shots now, Brett. That's what we doing? You, king of insecurities, called Olivia insecure. Got it. You're insecure about everything. He's insecure about everything. We can't rate people. Oh my God, I'm not no trivia. Oh, she makes more money than me. Mr. Literal Insecure called her insecure. Very, very interesting. Besides that, they go make these cocktails. Mr. Insecure is out there looking insecure while they're making it. He keeps looking around, seeing if he's getting a cocktail right. But like, there's nothing wrong want to do it right, but he just looks like his world's going to end if he doesn't. He's looking around at everybody. He's looking at Olivia. And when the instructor tells him to shake up the drinks, he says, all right, shake it up really good and then stop. When he tells him to stop, Brett keeps shaking it. I'm like, this little cheater, why are you still shaking your drink? He told everybody to stop. I can't. He just feels like he has to know everything or do everything, or somehow that would make him look bad. And that probably has something to do with childhood. That's probably something he need to work out with a therapist. But not in this marriage, right? Not in this marriage. Definitely not. But that's it with the train wreck. It's a mess. And honestly, like I keep saying, they need to just call it off. Just say they don't want to be together. I feel like especially Olivia should say it, because she expresses constantly the things about Brett that she does not like, the things she doesn't really like about their relationship. So I think she really needs to just stop. Just break it off. Just say, hey, experts, let's cut this out. Okay? Let's be done. But she don't say it. I just need her to do that. Definitely. Then it's Amani and Woody who are looking super cute the whole episode. They do their little cards where they have to ask each other things, you know, that the experts certainly gave to them. And they're doing this one outside, which is funny to me. Amani has to ask what is Woody's favorite sexual position, and she has to answer the question as well. What was funny about this part is that you can tell Amani's like a little embarrassed to probably say this on camera. She is laughing and everything. So it just was funny to me, like the whole situation, because they were just like, oh my God, why? I feel like they were like, why did y'all give us this question to ask on TV? But they were good sports and they answered it anyway. And Amani says that her favorite sexual position is one they haven't tried out. So Woody is like, okay, I got that filed in the back of my head. Then Amani asks about something that I think is something about like they had to get over. And Woody does say he goes deep and he says, look, he had to deal with the fact that he knows his relationship with his father isn't going to get better, and it's something that they had to just be done with, that him and his father just aren't going to have a relationship. And I honestly do really like how open Woody is with Amani, how he really has no issues being vulnerable. He really just tries to just tell the truth, honestly. And that is something I really do like about Woody. It's just certain things he has said that I'd be like, boy, like that whole "you can't cut your hair without telling me." I'd be like, But yeah, I think he is really honest and open with her about just actual insecurities about himself. And I think he did a good job when he talked about that. Honestly, they were just looking really adorable the whole episode. Besides that, they're home and they're doing more questions, and Woody has to freaking dance for Amani. I was cracking up. His dancing was hilarious. He keeps making all these sound effects, like ooh, ooh. I was like, why do we need sound effects for you to dance? I mean, he's a mess. But that's really it with them. They honestly just looking really cute. They answer their like intimacy questions perfectly fine, because we know they have no issues being close and showing affection and being intimate with each other. And honestly, when I started watching this season, Woody and Amani is certainly not the couple that I was gonna be like, yeah, they were gonna match perfectly well together. Mostly, like most of the time. They certainly weren't the one I would have picked that was going to mesh like so well together. So it is interesting season, certainly an interesting season. So my cat has decided to join me, but Christina and Henry are next. So they start off, they talking to Dr. Viviana. Henry is saying he has had issues showing his emotions, intimacy and different things like that. He is admitting he has issues with that and not as much practice, but it is something that he is certainly working on and wants to do better at. And Dr. Viviana asks them, like, how do they feel as a married couple? And Christina says she feels like they're married friends. I definitely said last episode, I don't think this marriage will work. I think they might end up friends. But yeah, Christina says they feel like friends who are married. And Viviana's like, that's all right, that's nice, but like, y'all need to get past that, or you will always have an unfulfilling marriage. I'm like, lady, they ain't gonna have an unfulfilling marriage if they ain't married at the end of this, girl. What? Because it ain't gonna happen. But Henry does say he may be making sex a bigger deal than it needs to be, but sex is a big deal to him, and that's why he moves slowly, like Karen says. And Christina's like, okay, I'm glad you said that. Like, she wanted to at least know those things. I think Henry shouldn't feel like he thinks he's making a big deal than it is. Like, sex is a big deal as long as someone says it's a big deal to them. It's fine. You should feel however you want to feel about it. So I think he should be fine with how he feels about how quickly or slowly he moves towards having sex with someone. It's okay. And Henry keeps saying that he really does want to like break his walls down. And as the episode, like as they're talking, you can see how much Henry has broken his walls down now, how much he communicates better. But Christina does say, like, I want him to initiate things, and I'm just not the big person that's going to initiate it. And you can tell that Henry's getting a little nervous with that. Later on, they do that whole like question section, and Henry is blindfolded, and Christina asks him, I can't even fully remember what the question is that Christina asked. It's probably like, what does she not know about Henry, or what's something he struggles with? It's something like that. And Henry says that he struggles with having confidence in himself, and it stems from him being chubby or fat as a child, and sometimes he feels that way still, so he is insecure about that. And honestly, Christina's just like, what? She thinks that it's kind of ridiculous that he's insecure. And I was like, what? People have insecurities, girl. What? Now, him being insecure because he used to be fat, like, who cares? He could be fat now or not fat. It doesn't matter. But, like, that is insecurity for him because the world is fat phobic. So I understand why he's insecure, right? But her listening to what he said and just saying, this doesn't make any sense. He should just be getting over something like this. She says it to the camera, and then she says to him, oh, as your wife and listening to you, I think it's good to talk about those things, because then you could just get over it. I'm like, well, dang, girl. And she says to the camera, like, oh, he's an adult. Why would he really care about things from a long time ago? He's clearly not big, and I don't understand why he would have those insecurities. Like, people have insecurities that stick with them until they're adults. Like, that is an actual thing. Everyone knows that. Why is she pretending like she don't know that people keep insecurities with them? And, like, he can try to work through them, certainly. But what she's saying isn't gonna help, like, girl. Then after that, Henry asks what would be the biggest deal breaker for Christina, and Christina says, yep, lack of confidence. And you can tell that hurts Henry's feelings because he just said he struggles with his confidence and being secure with himself. And I don't think it's actually anything wrong with Christina expressing that she likes confidence. She's saying she didn't always know this about herself, but she's realized that that's an attractive quality to her. That's fine for confidence to be an attractive quality to her. I think it's actually fine. I think the way she dealt with him saying he had lack of confidence was rude and insensitive, but saying that she's attracted to that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just like Henry saying a deal breaker is Christina being rude. The deal breakers they have mean they don't belong together. She wants confidence. He doesn't have as much the type of confidence or as much confidence she would like. He doesn't like rude, impatient people. She's rude and impatient. So clearly the deal breakers they have are each other. Like, she is a deal breaker for him and he's a deal breaker for her. So why are we still doing this? For TV, because they want to see if it works out. But y'all are expressing that the type of people that you're matched with are a deal breaker. You wouldn't really choose them for yourself. So what is happening? You know, it's just like they don't belong together. It's like Olivia and Brett, they don't. But Henry later on does meet up with Bennett, and he does discuss that Christina says she wants confidence, and that's something that he struggles with. And Bennett's just like, look, everybody has problems with confidence, or they have some issues with themselves. And he's like, it's confident to be able to self-reflect and want to work on those things, or just self-reflect and see the problems that you have. That's something confident that someone is doing, because they either look into themselves and deal with things about them. And I was like, you know, that was really nice of Ben to say, and also a true statement, that there are some things that can be seen as confidence, probably not traditionally seen as confident. And Bennett did a good job. Like, Bennett is a sweet friend and a good person, honestly. So I thought he gave a good perspective on what a different type of confidence could be. But the type of confidence that Christina is looking for is certainly not what Henry has. But that's really it with Christina and Henry, another couple who should really just admit to themselves that they weren't matched for each other properly, and that this isn't gonna work. That's it. Lastly is Amelia and Bennett, and honestly, they didn't show them much during the episode. They don't have much going on. It's just that Amelia is going to be placed in her residency soon, so she's gonna have to move. Amelia and Bennett do talk to Amelia's aunt, and Amelia's aunt is like, are you ready for this, Bennett? He yet again says, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So not a good sign. Like, is he gonna move with her or not? We don't know. And like I said, he talks to Henry, and he does tell Henry that this is gonna come up in a week, that she gets to know where she's moving in a week. And Ben is still like, I do really care about her as someone I can see myself with, you know, for the rest of my life, or like for the future, undetermined. But I really don't know. I really love New Orleans and my friends and everyone in my network here. So, you know, he don't know what he should do with moving, because he has been with her for 3 weeks, but it is his wife, and he is close to love, as he said last episode. Hot and mushy, near that love section for Amelia. So we'll see what happens. I honestly think that if he chooses to leave, I think that he's going to go with her. I think even if he chooses not to originally, and they like still talk and stay married, but like at a distance, I think that he'll still decide to move afterwards, because he wants to be around her. That's what I think really what happened. But yeah, that's it for this episode. That is it for my recap and review of Married at First Sight Season 11, Episode 11. Let's talk about sex, baby. Yeah, that's it. What do y'all think? Certainly, I just feel like who should cut it short and just save us the trouble and themselves the trouble? Olivia and Brett, Christina and Henry should just cut themselves out and just be like, look, this, y'all matched us incorrectly. They did. And that we don't belong with each other. Definitely. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye.